Welcome to day 635 of 1,350 days. Now today there are 43 book sales to report, bringing the total to 4,553. And if I'm perfectly honest with you, I thought there were going to be a lot more book sales to report today. And the reason being is because I received my royalty statement from Watkins Media, the publisher of my second book, Do the Work You Love. So every 6 months I receive one of these statements. So how are we doing now? What is the grand total? Before I reveal it to you, bear in mind that my first 6 month sales for this book were around 1,150 copies. Now that may sound pretty good, and I was actually quite happy with those sales, but they were lower than what they were expected. And the reason I was told at the time that they were lower than what was expected was because of the lockdown and the fact that people just simply couldn't get into bookstores to buy the book. So coming into this new royalty statement and these new figures, I was figuring that they weren't going to be very high. I thought if my sales for the first half of the year were 1,150, these would probably be around 400 copies. I was thinking that there are always some returns, so I'm probably not going to sell too many. 400 is a conservative estimate. Well, it turns out that that was a ridiculously optimistic estimate. And instead of selling 400 copies of my book, I have sold minus 40 copies of my book in the last 6 months. Minus 40 copies of Do the Work You Love. You could say, how is that actually possible to sell a minus number? Well, it's to do with the returns. It basically means I've had more copies of this book returned back to Watkins than I've actually been able to sell in the stores. So it is a total disaster, a total motivation depleting disaster as well. I'm at present working on my fourth book, but this afternoon it's just not happening at all. Motivation has tanked and gone completely, because I just feel that this was really bad news, and there's no sort of positive spin on this. There's no way to tell yourself that this is not failure, this is feedback. There's no way around it. You just have to accept that this is one tremendous failure, one tremendous demotivating failure at that. So I'm just shocked at the moment, and I'm finding it hard to process the whole thing. I put a tremendous amount of work into this. I do for all my books. This is not some gimmick. I don't write gimmick books. I don't sort of look to see what's popular and think, oh yes, I'll copy what everybody else is doing and quickly get something out about introverts, or quickly get something else which just seems popular at the moment and try to cash in on that. I don't do this. I write from the heart. I write about issues which I believe are important, and I try to provide readers with the best possible reading experience. Not only the best possible reading experience, but actually teach them something or provide them with something that's going to help, that they can action in their lives, that's going to inspire them, that may, for the odd occasional person, actually change their life. And that's what I do with every single one of my books, and that's why it's so demotivating to see the lack of sales. And there are many different factors, and I'm going to have a meeting with my publishing company to try to understand what's gone wrong. So I'm having a serious rethink at the moment, and being very honest with you guys, and I said I would be. This is, as I said, behind the scenes. This is not me putting on some kind of image for show. This is the real, the nitty gritty of trying to live your dreams, the highs that you do have and some of the crushing lows and disappointments you experience as well. And that's where I'm at right now. It's even made me think, after I finish my fourth book, I'm starting to wonder what's my future with writing, because I put so much into this. I literally put my heart and soul into every single book I write, and yes, I get a reward in the sense that people contact me and say they love my books. Some of you watching this now have been in touch with me, and it really, that's the fuel that keeps me writing. But at some point I want to make a living from my books. I want that to fund my life, and I'm not anywhere near that, and I've got to be honest about it. So that is making me question my writing future. I had 8 books in mind. 8 books was what I was going to write, and I'm currently writing my 4th. But if the situation doesn't improve and I get more and more numbers and results like the ones I've just have, then maybe the 4th book will be my last book. I'm not sure. I'm in a dark place at the moment, so I'm sure in a week's time my motivation will have returned. But that's how I'm feeling right now, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. So for day 635, this unfortunately is what's going on. It's much later on in the evening now, and after I let off some steam earlier this afternoon, I was actually feeling a little bit better. I managed to do my 2 hours writing on my latest book, managed to feel quite motivated, and put the disappointment of the earlier sales behind me. So I'm back on track, I'm keeping going, I'm committed to my 1,350 days journey, I'm committed to completing my 4th book and my 5th as well, seeing where it goes. I'm going to keep going, keep fighting, and see what happens. And you may wonder, I did the book count for today and it was 4,553. I was adding books onto my previous day, and you may wonder why I'm not taking them off, seeing as I only sold, well, seeing as I had minus 40 sales on Do the Work You Love. Well, I got paid in advance for that book, so those sales, as far as I'm concerned, they still count, and I just won't add any more on until I earn above and beyond, or sell above and beyond what has now been returned. So just to clear that point up quickly, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.